Around 90% of AI voice agencies fail within their first year, not just because the technology doesn't work, but because there is a very massive gap between building a demo and building a real system that actually makes money. We have seen companies burn through six-figure budgets just to provide the basic customer support and they just get failed. So today I'm going to show you that why does this happen, and we'll talk about the exact framework by which you can literally build those systems which will make real money. So we'll be covering the entire topic from just discussing that four reasons that why voice agents crash, and then we're gonna talk about that the production ready framework by which following those steps you can build the very great system that actually can work very efficiently for companies. And then we're gonna talk about the testing pyramid, which is the core basic thing by which you will pass through the agent testing phase, and definitely it will have a massive result experience which you're gonna face. And after that then we're gonna just talk about some other stuff, revenue model, each and everything. This is gonna be a very comprehensive video, so just give 10 minutes around and it will gonna change your life and completely change your perspective to see this opportunity. So we're gonna talk about that this is a very big opportunity. Around most of the people even don't know about what is voice agent and how does these agents can work for a local business, for an e-commerce store, and how does this work and something like that, all of the technical stuff. So this is a very sweet spot for us to just go in, tell those businesses that you are missing this amount of calls, this agent can pick up all of the calls, and definitely will have this amount of revenue. You can just have the explanation with x amount of time, y amount of money, and z amount of focus revenue, whatever you want to say. First of all, let us just discuss that four reasons that voice agents crash. I have been building voice agents personally, and I have seen multiple things that we do. Like, just we don't need to do that. Actually, there is a very simple process by which you can just follow those clear steps, and you'll have a very good desired output. And people say that you can build a voice agent in just 5 minutes. That's exactly true. You just have to write a prompt, and you can just put that prompt into the WAPI, just connect the good LLM model, and the agent will be ready. But the thing here is to make the agent so perfect, so efficient, so that it can really replace humans and it can work for an enterprise company that takes weeks of time, that takes weeks of testing. So we're gonna just talk about. First of all, you need to understand this. This is an AI. We are building AI voice agent. This is not a real human. There is no offense about that this agent can literally work like a human, but it's not a human. It can still make mistake because it's a machine, kind of a machine, kind of a virtual assistant that can make mistakes. That is that has some kind of programming in the back end which can break sometime. It has some kind of API keys which can just show some error. So you have to understand, you have to tell to your client that this is the AI voice agent that we have prepared, but definitely since this is a machine, it will show some kind of error. So you have to be very clear about that. Starting a project, you should understand this thing, that you have to clear about the scale. You should have to clear about the complete scope of the project, that okay, so we're gonna build this and this will be the outcome. 85%, 95% of the call will gonna work very good, but you will see some kind of 5% of failure, and that's some kind of very important to discuss, because this is a machine at the end of the day, and we cannot just take the 100% guarantee. And then we'll talk about that what people do, what developers done. They just create the agent in 2 weeks and then they just spend 2 days for testing, and that's pretty wrong thing. You are preparing one thing for 2 weeks, and you think that 2 days or 3 days or even a week will be enough to just test it out and just completely get confidence that okay, this is gonna work. This is not about that thing. You just have to understand that if you are spending 2 weeks to create that thing, it's just only the 20%. The 80% will get uncovered in the testing phase. You have to just spend minimum of the 4 to 6 weeks to just test the voice agent. And then we have different kind of scenarios out there. We have different kind of layers in which we'll be testing the AI voice agent. Sometimes we'll be testing it on our some kind of local level, some kind of internal level, and then after that we'll be testing it at external level, which will be our audience. We're gonna show it to our audience so that we can match it according to the behavior of our audience, because for every single niche the audience is kind of different. For HVAC the audience is different, for plumbers the audience is different. So you have to first understand that we have to spend more and more time, not just in the production phase but in testing phase, because in the testing phase you'll get to know that we did this thing done very great and we have to improve this part. So that's a very important point. like some kind of ignoring compliance. This is a very important third point, that no AI disclosure, no constant tracking, no recording notices. You just create an agent, you just deploy it, and just you forget that okay, nothing happened. I just got my money. That's not about a thing. You just have to understand that if you are building an agent and if you are deploying it to some kind of like business of your client, you should have to do regular monitoring to show them the best results that can literally work for them. And after that, on the last point, we have missing edge cases, API failures, unclear responsive transfer request, blah blah blah, all of that stuff. In transferring call, in some kind of using tools, in some kind of like calling an API request, whatever it is, you just have to understand that anything can show error anytime. Like that's only 5%, but you have to prepare for it. You just have to tell your client, you just have to tell the company that okay, this is exception cases, we don't have control on that, but we can do some kind of other thing that by which we can just have some kind of like, if you are facing this issue, you will gonna like pass out the call to some live agent. So these are some kind of tactics that you can perform at that moment. But definitely you have to understand, and you have to like, the scope of the project is very important. We're gonna talk about completely about that thing in some other video, that what is the scope of the project and how you should design that, because that's very important to understand for the mutual contribution. Okay, so now let's talk about the production ready framework. We have three pillars in which we're gonna build our AI voice agent, AI employee, whatever you say to him, like just AI receptionist will be a cool word. We're gonna have like three pillars, and if you don't like just have a good base on these three pillars, you do each and everything. You can just connect this node and you just do some kind of like booking system, connecting calendars, connecting this stuff, blah stuff, Java. Nothing will gonna work. You have to understand that your base, your fundamentals should have to be very hard. You should have to make them very perfect so that the AI voice agent will go work very perfectly. We have, first of all, we have bulletproof prompting. If you know some kind of prompt engineering, you literally know this thing, that prompt is the base, prompt is the core thing on which the agent completely based upon. And you should have to just work on it. You just have to work on the prompt thing, make it concise but very to the point, and as well make it so much productive so that the agent will get to know about each and everything that you want him to perform. That's a very important thing. Performance data architecture, definitely we're gonna add up some CRMs, calendar, like we'll be using some kind of like custom CRM. We have to just connect some Google Sheets, Google Calendar, depending upon the client, but we'll be using different kind of things. So this is some kind of like pillar that you have to be focusing the most, because if you are not attaching the Google Calendar in some kind of right way, it's gonna show some error. So you have to understand for it. And then reliable integration layer, API fails, server timeouts. This is a very good thing that I was talking just before. That first of all, you have to connect the valid API keys. You have to understand that we should be using those tools. If you are using some kind of like other calendar which is not so popular and which has not so much kind of authority, I won't suggest to use that. You can just use Google Calendar or some kind of other calendars which are kind of like just more authoritative. So this is the thing, that you should use great API keys, and as well you should be using some kind of like error handling. And what's error handling is that you can just build up some kind of a scenario and you can just plan it in some way that okay, so what we'll do if the client, actually the caller asked us that okay, so let's just book me up for 3 p.m. this day, and we face some kind of error. So the agent will gonna just reply, okay sir, I'm really sorry for this, that we are facing this issue with booking system. I'm gonna just connect you with our live agent so that you can just talk to him and just get booked. And then it will transfer up the call to the live agent, and definitely their live agent can literally do it manually on the CRM. So this is the sectional like 5% cases which you'll be dealing with, and this is very important to just build up the scenario and all of those things. The testing pyramid, three layers, no shortcuts, is very important to understand if you are building a voice agent, that there is no some kind of like simple testing period. There is no some kind of okay, so I'll call to this agent 2 times and I'll ask this and this question. We'll talk about all of those like FAQs and just some kind of okay, so book me this time and just improve this thing, or just like redirect me to some kind of other agent, stuff like that. It's not about that simple. You have to understand that you have to test it in some way. There is a complete pyramid about that. We start with the internal testing. First of all, we're gonna like scripted scenarios, documented outcomes. First of all, you will gonna like just test it out on some kind of fundamental level. The fundamental level is that okay, so you are booking a booking system, it should book. So for that reason, what you'll do, you're gonna just call up the agent, okay, so book me up for 2 p.m., and then you're gonna go to like Google Calendar, which you have attached in the backend, and you're gonna see, okay, so we got 2 to 3 p.m. slot fixed, and yeah, everything is okay. So you have completed the internal testing, and after that we're gonna use the live testing. Okay, so we have completely built it, we have connected the phone number, and then we're gonna use the phone number in different scenarios. We're gonna put up some people in our case, and just we'll start testing it with some kind of other people who don't know that this is kind of an AI, and like we'll be using some kind of like scripted scenarios, but those people won't use, and we're gonna just try to trick it up, and we'll try to like just ask some kind of different questions. So that is kind of a like very good thing, by which this is some kind of like unscripted, and will face some kind of like more and more um, chance to improve it. And then on the very third part, which I discussed before, that first of all, automated testing, we can do both as well. Like we can use AI, even if like you can use some kind of like outbound caller to call in less like kind of like 10 accents, 10 different approaches, and you can just call it and have some kind of automated stuff. And as well, what you can do, it's a suggestion of pro players, that what they say, that if you are building an agent for a company, after completely building it and having the internal testing, having the live testing, each and everything done, still you should have a like 4 week audit, in which you will, what you're gonna do, you're gonna just test it up according to the desired audience. If you are building it for an HVAC company, you'll be dealing some kind of like plumbing service and all of that stuff. The audience will going to be like some kind of different. And if you are building this for a salon, especially for salon for women, you're gonna just see some kind of like different stuff out there, because most of the time the calls will be about like some kind of woman, and the accent will gonna change, the tone will gonna change, and all the stuff. So you have to understand that we have to prepare it, we have to test it according to the desired our audience. And non-negotiable metric, success rate must be 85% plus before call. Before that you are not ready, you just have to start it from like this complete structure, you have to make it perfect. After that you can just start with internal testing, live testing, and then automated testing. This is how it works. And monitoring and governance launch is just a start. You should understand that if you are just deploying this agent to someone's business, it's the first step. You have to understand all of that deployment stuff and connecting APIs and this stuff, booking system, all of that stuff. This is the like kind of like you can say the zero period. The first step is when you deploy it, and after that you see, okay, we got this error, okay, we have to improve like this way. So this is some kind of thing that you have to understand back in the mind. And dashboard requirements, if you are building some kind of UI for your client, and yeah, that's kind of like very great approach. Call volume and success rate are necessary to just show failure reasons. You can have some kind of failure reasons for your backend, for your developers. I don't know, it's all about you, that about your use case, stuff like that. Non-negotiables, AI disclosure, upfront, constant validation, call recording, very important, automated validation, stuff like that. These are the core essentials. If you know some kind of AI voice agent, definitely if you are watching this video, you actually you know some kind of fundamental level of AI voice agent. You can completely understand that. Set up critical failures alerts, success rate about 80%, you get notified. Actually this is very important, that some kind of like if you are building some kind of like if you have built a complete UI, you'll have a report after 1 week. If you see we got 75% of success rate, you'll get a message that okay, so we need some kind of improvement, we're gonna do some work on that. This is very important, because continuous monitoring, continuous modification, continuous this kind of upgradation of the system is very important to just survive in the market and just provide the best of the best result to your client. And that's a very important thing, otherwise you cannot just build once and then no one is going to come back to you to have some kind of other needs, and just you're gonna just try again and again and again to get more and more clients instead of just upselling the existing ones. So this is kind of thing which you have to just understand completely. Very important thing, the revenue model. Most of the people just get confused. Okay, so either we should just create this for one time, or we shouldn't be charging the like basic setup fee, and we'll be charging this retainer or that retainer. I don't know, I don't have some kind of complete understanding that how should I charge. So this is kind of a thing that I think that will be covering is very good. Setup fee, first of all, you'll charge some kind of setup fee, because it's very important that okay, so you have built this agent for a client, let's suppose for free, and then you're gonna charge $1,000 per month as a retainer. Just take an example. After 1 month, the client will say, okay, so we are not going to use this anymore. Or if you have built some kind of like outbound agent, the client will say, okay, we have worked for 1 month, and now I think that we got a lot of leads and we're gonna continue after 6 months. So this is some kind of a thing. If you don't charge the setup fee, you're gonna lose it. So it's my personal opinion that you should be charging some kind of setup fee so that you'll get the reward of some, like, not that reward but the output of the effort you'll put in that 4 week or 5 week period while building the AI voice agent for them. But and after that you can just ask them for a complete monthly retainer. That's very important, because in this thing you'll be monitoring, you'll be optimizing continuously, you'll be looking upon that system like maybe like twice a month, that what is the success rate and where we need to improve. Very proof of concept is very important, that if you have some kind of like scenario in your mind that okay, this is the complete ROI which we can offer to our client, definitely it will be more than more easy for us to just charge a good price, and the client will get agreed on that because he will see our 10x, 20x, 50x, 100x better output on that investment. So if you can just say okay, so we got 47 appointments booked this week, 47 appointments booked this week with our AI voice agent, each cost some kind of like, the average ticket size is 500, we got 23,500 generated via our AI voice agent, and the client will say okay, that's very cool. Before agent will be missing calls, and we were missing calls and just losing the revenue. We're just making like some kind of 5k, and we are making this time 23.5k, and this is some kind of like extra 18.5k, and you just ask them okay, so we are just looking for the some kind of 5%, which is $900 per month. They're gonna just easily give you that money, because they are already making so much money extra compared to the last couple of months they have spent in their business. So this is some kind of the way you should be giving the ROI and the presentation to your client, which is very important for you. You can just start with some kind of like single one inbound reception, speed to lead response. That's very important. Whenever through your lead magnet, it could be your website form, it could be some kind of other funnel, whatever you use. Once the lead come in, you're gonna just put up the agent on that duty, that he'll just gonna call them within the 60 minutes, and we'll have some kind of like 400% more chance to close them. Call routing, all the stuff, all are very valuable stuff. You can just position yourself in the market with a great value product, and you're gonna conquer it. Now we're gonna talk about that framework checklist. There is a step-by-step pathway that you should use, and everything will gonna work in a complete very mannered way. Platform architecture, map integration, that's very like, actually that's very important thing. If we talk about the map introduction and API dependencies development, each and everything before development, it's very important that if you are just building a make.com scenario, I would say that you should be focusing on just planning it on a whiteboard, on a paper pen, whatever suits best for you, to just first of all plan it. Okay, so we're gonna use this module and then this module and then this module, we're gonna trigger the automation like this, and then we're gonna connect this and this and this. It will take them kind of like 30 minutes to just plan it, and it will lesser up the chance of getting stuck at some point and just showing some kind of errors a lot more percent. So this is some kind of a thing that we should be focusing on. Prompt engineering, as I said before, prompt is the main core thing on which the AI voice engine depends, and you should understand that how you can make your prompt more and more efficient to get more and more best results. Testing roadmap, internal, live, as I said before, you have three-phase testing process in which you're gonna just start with internal, then you're gonna have live testing, and then you will gonna use either AI to test it again and again on automation. But as well you can use the, actually I would suggest to go on that way, that you're gonna just tell to your client okay, so we have deployed this thing, but we're gonna have some kind of like 4 week audit to make it very highly personalized according to your audience. So this is some kind of a thing that you should be looking on. Monitoring dashboard, that's very important. If you are building some kind of UI, you can just easily build it via like bold.new. We have Lovable, we have some kind of like bunch of tools by which you can just do some kind of vibe code, and you're gonna build up a very great UI. And this is the thing that will gonna enhance the productivity and the like some kind of like efficiency of the agent. They're gonna show all of that like fancy stuff, and client will gonna met on that. Revenue model, as I said before, you're gonna just talk about the ROI, that what we are providing to you. Not just you're gonna say okay, so give us 500 every month. The client will say why I'm going to give you 500, and you're gonna reply to them that you are going to pay us 500 every single month, and you are making an extra 20K. That makes sense. And client will gonna easily pay you even $1,000, even 2,000 if you are providing some kind of 10x, 20x more. So that's kind of a thing that you should have in your mind while pricing an AI voice agent. The opportunity is real, but only for the disciplined. Definitely, at last, you should understand that this is some kind of a thing that's not that new in the market. At that moment, you are not the innovators. If you know that graph, we start with innovators, then some kind of like, uh, what do you say that? Early adopters, then early majority, and then the late majority. So you should understand that we are in some kind of like center phase of early majority and early adopters. But yeah, still there's a very big market out there which you can conquer. Start, pick up one use case. You can start with either as an AI receptionist. Even you can go to a niche. You can just start with only AI receptionist for salons. You can just start with booking systems of restaurants. You can just start with only one niche and you can just conquer it. Show that result that we have 97% of success rates. That's a very good success rate. And you're gonna just have that approach that we discussed here, that yeah, this kind of ROI stuff, that okay, so you are going to make this with AI, without this you are not making this, and I'm going to charge you this thing. So very clear cut ROI explanation. And the founder and product leaders winning the race are building the right way. You have to understand, people are getting into this fancy stuff. Okay, so AI is new and there's some kind of a hype in the market, but there is a stuff that you have to understand, that nobody is going to like get success without getting deep into it and without taking it very seriously and getting in very disciplined. So this was it for today. We have talked completely that what are the core like mistakes that people do while creating AI voice agents, and how we can improve the framework, pricing, each and everything that we have discussed. I hope that this video worked best for you, and this was it for today. I want you to just comment down that what you are like, what you have thoughts about creating an AI voice agent. What are the biggest problem that you are facing right now, that you want us to some kind of like have a conversation or create a video about that how we can fix that, this and that, or some kind of other topic. I would like to just respond to you guys. You can connect on Instagram. You can just text me on Instagram if you face any kind of other problem. Just go do a subscribe if you like this video. If not, then I'm gonna do my best in the next video to just convince you to do subscribe. Otherwise, then I'm gonna just start it again and again and again. Just comment down, connect with me, and I'll see you in the next one.